sort of an embryonic, you know, grouping that will begin to grow and mature and take on leadership, and struggle and eventually come to lead the nation in a new direction. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope that within the next 28 years that something like that can materialize here in this country.
Now, speaking of China, and I want to talk because most our conversation has been about U.S. domestic policy, and we ventured a little bit in international policy. But I want to I want us to just go over to the international policy now, and I want us to talk about the situation with China and America, and how China is cleaning America's clock in every sphere of influence that America once dominated in, and that from trade, from manufacturing to new technologies to currency to alleviation of poverty. And when we talk about alleviation of poverty, we first have to put people into the proper mind state, because America is a country of 360 million people. China is a country of almost 1.5. It's 1.4 some billion people, almost 1.5 billion people. And to have the greatest part of poverty alleviated, that is astounding. It's astonishing in the eyes of people, because I don't think people understand the magnitude of what the CPC has done in the amount of time that they have done in their area of the world, especially after all, I would say, being designated as a rising country or a third world and not even a first world nation, and have done something that the so-called first world of America and Europe has not done, or any other nation has done, alleviated poverty to such a degree. I believe that Muammar Gaddafi, the late leader of Libya, had done something comparable to that when he changed the whole outlook and the whole environment in Libya and turned it from the poorest nation in the world to the most prosperous nation in the Mediterranean, where education was free, where food was free, where you didn't have to worry about these corporations. And if you got married, you got a $50,000 stipend in a house. And if you wanted to go to school, the government would pay for your school at home or abroad. I believe that is similar to what China is doing with the alleviation of poverty of 1.45 or 1.5 billion people. What say you? And then after that, I want to play something for you. I want to play something for you about China and America's bumping head geopolitically.
Oh yeah, well, no, there's no question about it. As I delineated previously, all the accomplishments that China has had over the last decade, even in terms of high speed rail networks, 40,000 kilometers, linking every major city, even now into Tibet, and all the other accomplishments, the space program. This year they're going to be constructing their own space station, and they just signed an agreement with Russia to set up a lunar colony on the moon's south pole by the end of this decade. So they're moving on every front. And whenever there's confronted with a roadblock, like all of these restrictions placed on U.S. companies dealing with China's high tech sector, the not allowing the export of silicon chips and the like, so that just motivates China to do it on their own, and they've shown time and time again that they're perfectly capable of taking the bull by the horns. So yeah, that's absolutely true. What you say, and now you have Biden and his national security team, the Secretary of State and his national security advisor going up to Anchorage to meet with Foreign Minister Wang Yi and basically China's national security advisor, or the equivalent, Yang Jiechi. And Biden's huffing and puffing, talking about how we're marshaling all our allies, and we're gonna meet them from a position of strength, and we're going to tell China, what we don't like about what they're doing, and lecturing China about this, that, and the other thing. Give me a break. China, they're just going to look at these guys, they're just going to size them up and, just kind of shrug their shoulders and say, okay, mouth off if you want, we don't give a flying fuck, I mean, what are they going to do? China's not going to back off on Taiwan. That's never going to happen. That's been the Chinese policy from the get-go. China's not going to change anything in Xinjiang or Tibet because those regions now are beginning to thrive. With the poverty alleviation programs and the build out of infrastructure and whatnot. They're not going to let up on keeping those areas secure and combating separatism and terrorism. They're not going to back off on that. Hong Kong. They're not going to allow Hong Kong to be a center for the CIA, and MI16, or whatever it's called, the British intelligence being a staging ground for their subversion. Those days are done. The South China Sea, China's not going to give up its claims of sovereignty over, what they consider a vital national, defense, interest, just like, neither would we, in a comparable situation. So whatever the U.S., plans to, tell China off about, China's not going to change their policy one iota.